All right, good morning again, everyone. Welcome to our Form Simplicity training. This is Robert here with Elite Ocean View Realty. Guys, we have an interesting class today. It's really one of the most important tools you'll be using as real estate agents. Most of you on this training are brand new agents, so welcome. And if you have some experience and you're here to kind of touch up or brush up on Form Simplicity, welcome again. Um, as realtors, we of course need to master the MLS, so that's Core Logic Matrix, and we also need Form Simplicity. Form Simplicity is where we will produce the contracts, we'll build the contracts, we'll send them over to our clients so they can sign them electronically and much more. Guys, we are recording our session and please visit our YouTube channel. I already dropped a link inside of our chat. And from our YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch today's class and any class that we have here at Elite Ocean View Realty. Once again, that's our YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch all these classes. So if there's a class that we have scheduled for sometime in November and you don't want to wait till November, not a problem. You will find all the classes here, all of them. All right, they're all here and they're pretty much the same material. So go ahead and log into YouTube and watch it. All right. So where is Form Simplicity located? It is inside of your resource panel and it's right here. Okay, you'll find it in there. Also, you'll find it inside of the MLS when you are looking at a property. All right, let me go ahead and just open up here any property. You'll find a little symbol for Form Simplicity right there. That symbol allows us to begin a transaction on the property. All right. But before we actually begin a transaction on the property, I'd like to show you what Form Simplicity looks like, of course, and I want to navigate the system, make sure everyone knows where everything is located. All right, so the first thing that you guys will notice when you are inside of Form Simplicity, that you will have a link up here that says upgrade. I don't have it because I already upgraded. So the upgrade actually buys you the eSign feature, the electronic feature. We are going to use eSign, guys. We're not gonna be sending PDF files, having them print it, sign it, and scan it back. Some of us may still work that way. Some of us may still go in person, have our clients sign the contract, and that's fine. But mostly everyone here works through eSign, so why not purchase it? You click on upgrade and you want to purchase the $7 a month option. It ends up being about $84 for the year. All right, so it's a quick and easy purchase, and we will then have access to eSign. All right. That's the only thing that we have to pay for inside of Form Simplicity, which is the electronic signing feature.
Let me ask you just a question, Robert. Do we have to pay that every year? Because I paid for it last year. It's like the same thing as the MLS. Every year you have to renew it.
Yes, every year you have to
Okay.
renew. Yeah, I believe mine's coming up on renewal because I think I paid for it last November. So,
I
uh,
don't know. I don't know if mine's still available. Okay, cool. Thanks.
yeah, absolutely. All right, so here we are, right? We're inside of Form Simplicity. You guys want to go to your preferences, kind of like check your preferences, make sure everything is correct. You can go to your account information. That's just going to be your name, of course, the office that we're with, and your contact information. All right. Then you have down here other preferences, general settings. Here's where you're going to build yourself an email signature because you are going to send emails through Form Simplicity. So you want to make sure that you have your email signature correct and other settings that you see here. All right, guys. So that is going to be your preferences, and it's always going to be on the very top right-hand corner. Notifications, once again, it's like, notifications anytime you get a contract signed or any type of notifications, you want to go ahead and come here and set it up. All right. I'm not really going to go into notifications. I like my notifications how they are. So we're going to go ahead and just click on home. All right. So whenever you land on the homepage of Form Simplicity, it's always going to show you your active transactions. All right, your active transactions are going to be here. When you click on transactions, it's going to show you all of your transactions, not just your actives, but also any archive transactions or any canceled transactions. You'll notice up here, I have 11 transactions that I have not archived. I tend to leave all the transactions I close as active. And then any transactions that were canceled because the offer wasn't accepted, or I was just practicing, then I hide them inside of an archive. All right. We cannot delete transactions, and that's on purpose. Our brokerage made sure that you're not able to delete transactions. We don't want you to lose important documentation. So you cannot delete a transaction. You can only archive a transaction, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay. Then up here we have blank forms. This is where all of the forms are located. There are two ways to access forms. One, from a blank form library. So when you open up Florida, you'll notice that all the forms are here in alphabetical order. And it's a lot of forms, guys. It's a lot of forms. What we did here at Elite Ocean View Realty is that we created packages for you. Now, packages are important because these are hand selected by our brokerage, and it pretty much tells you which other forms you should use during any style transaction. So we have a buyer package. Obviously, it's a package you'll use when you represent a buyer. We have a commercial package when you're working a commercial transaction. We have the exclusive right to sell package. This is when you're going to list a property for sale. And then we have an exclusive right to lease package. This is when you're going to list a property for lease. And then you have the lease package when you're representing a tenant. You want to use that lease package. And then there's two other packages here, the purchase contract as is. That's like an older package that we have not archived yet. And then there is the purchase contract for residential sale and purchase. This is known as the CRSP. And I want to tell you that we don't use that one either. All right. So these are your packages right here. Buyer package, commercial, exclusive right to sell, exclusive right to lease, and then also lease package. All right. Now, you can use these packages. However, you cannot modify the package or delete the package. All right. So it's almost like it's a template. It's a template for you to use. And then we're going to skip right over broker dashboard. This is something I have as your office manager. I get to have access to all of your form simplicity. So if you guys ever need help, you need me to review a contract, I can always log into broker dashboard, go to your files, and I can review your contracts. All right. And then my files right here, this is kind of like storage. You know, you guys can go to my files and you can upload anything that you like. All right. So I uploaded a application for rental, and that's all I have in there. All you need to do is click on upload file, and you can upload any files you like in PDF format. And then we have contacts. I tend to never really add any contacts in here, you know. But you can do that as well. I haven't added any contacts. You can always add contacts into Form Simplicity. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to the homepage. If you guys want to create a transaction from inside of Form Simplicity, then you can always click on Start a New Transaction, and then that's going to be right there on the left-hand side. All right, so when you click on that, it's going to ask you for the property address. It's going to ask you to name the transaction. And then it's going to ask you right here, what property type is it? Residential, commercial, any property type you see here. And then transaction type right here, listing purchase, listing purchase, and lease or rental. So those are your transaction types. And then it's going to ask you to choose a package and then create the transaction. All right. That is if you want to create the transaction from inside of Form Simplicity. Now, the only time I'd probably be doing this if the property that we are going to place an offer on is off the market. Also, the only time I'm going to create a transaction inside of Form Simplicity, directly from inside of Form Simplicity, is if I represent a seller and we're going to create a listing agreement and the property is not on the MLS. Otherwise, if the property is on the MLS and you want to create a transaction, all you need to do is go to the listing and then click on FS, and that's going to transport all the information from the MLS into Form Simplicity. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and practice that because that is a very simple way to do it. So watch this. Let's pretend that we want to place an offer on this property.
All right. Is this also for the rental? You can do the same thing if you're doing a rental?
Yes, yes, if it's a rental, you can do the same thing, correct?
Okay.
All right. So let me ask you a question, guys. Would you like for me to do a rental instead of a sale?
Well, I speak for myself. I've done rentals before, but I need all the practice in the world. Since we're getting all these mostly rental leads,
Yes.
I think that would be the most appropriate. But that's me. I can do that privately with you later on if you want. If everybody wants to do the same thing, great. If not, whatever the majority wants to do.
All
I
right,
think
let's try.
rentals would be beneficial, Robert, as well,
All right,
personally. But
let's try that. Let's try that. All right. So here we have what is this? This is a house. Okay, yeah. So here we have a house for rent at $5,300. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the process of putting together a rental offer, and then I'm also going to go through the process of putting a for sale purchase offer. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and click on FS, which is Form Simplicity. That's gonna open up the program. All right. So notice that all the information will be then transported into Form Simplicity like this, so you don't have to retype it. Okay. Now down here for seller landlord, we must know what the landlord name is. So watch me. This is how we get the landlord information. You go back to the MLS and right to the left of Form Simplicity, there's a little button called IMAP. IMAP is also located up here. You guys can open up IMAP and you can enter the property address. But from the MLS listing, you always have all these links. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on this and open in a new tab. And the reason why I right clicked is because if I would have clicked directly on IMAP, it would have replaced my Form Simplicity with IMAP. And then I would have had to go back, right? So here it is. And here is the owner, Miami Real Estate Investment Group, LLC. All right. So that's the owner. I'm going to go ahead and copy the owner's name, right? We're going to copy the owner's name. We're going to now go back to Form Simplicity for seller landlord. Who's the landlord? Miami Real Estate Investment Group, LLC. Okay. Then you have here who's listing the property, and then you have over here purchase price. So the purchase price is also equal to the rent price. So they're asking 5,300. I'm gonna go ahead and offer 5,000. All right. That's not to say that you should do the same. You know, if you want to offer less, that's fine. That's up to you. Rent prices or listing prices for rent usually are pretty standard. All right. So maybe 5,200, you know, $100 off. Let's go with that. All right, so we agreed to offer 5,200, and then who is your buyer or tenant name? So here's where you're going to enter your client. I'm going to enter my favorite client of all time, Michael Jordan. If you guys follow my videos, you'll notice I use Michael Jordan a whole lot. All right, so that is my tenant for today. And then, of course, your information will show up down here, and we're going to go ahead and click on save to a transaction down here. All right, so we're going to name the transaction the same as the property address. So you're
Robert, I have a question. If
Yes.
it's a few tenants, like 2 or 3, so should I put all of them names there in offer?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
you have multiple tenants, where it says Michael Jordan here. You're going to put a comma, and you're going to put the second tenant. And then if it's a third tenant, then you will put the third tenant as well.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Notice, guys, I didn't enter a property. I
Sorry,
didn't enter.
I have a question regarding the multiple tenants. When you have a tenant, you have to do the background check in all the 9 yards. Do you do that for all 3 tenants or just one main tenant?
Every tenant that's over the age of 18.
Who's gonna sign the lease? Okay.
No, no. Every single tenant that is 18 or over.
Oh, I see what you're
The
saying.
landlords are going to want to see, even if you are a child, right? You are the son or daughter of the parents, but you're 19
Right.
years old. The landlords are going to want to see a tenant screening for that person, a criminal background check and a tenant screening for that person.
But if the tenant less than 18 years old, should I still put their names there?
No, they're occupants.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys, watch my working with renters video. please watch my Working with Renters video. I know that there's a lot of new agents that are on our training today, in our training today. I explain all of that in the Working with Renters video. I'll explain it again today, but yes. All right. So let's go ahead and
I got it. Go.
let's go ahead and save to a transaction. We're going to name this transaction the same as the property address. And then property type, this is a residential property. Transaction type, this is a lease rental. And we're going to go ahead and click on save to a transaction. So normally, guys, now that we're waiting for this, when you are working with tenants, there's usually going to be the people that are actually on the contract, right? The people leasing. So Michael Jordan is leasing. Let's say Michael Jordan and his wife are leasing. Then it'll be Michael Jordan and his wife's name. Now, if they have 2 or 3 minor children in the contract to lease, there's a space for occupants. You're going to put the minor children in occupants. All right. If they have adult occupants, doesn't have to be children, it could be maybe their father or their father-in-law, then you're going to put that father-in-law under occupants as well. And you're going to need a tenant screening for that person. If the father-in-law is also going to be on the lease, then you're going to put them on the first line, on the tenant line, not the occupant line. We'll discuss that right now. All right, so we are now inside of the transaction. We created a transaction. Notice up here, delete transaction is not available. You're not able to delete a transaction. All you can do is archive it, okay? Now you come down here and we're going to click on add forms package. You do not need to add forms from the blank forms library. Just go to the package, select the lease package, and then it's going to open up all these forms. I'm going to uncheck all of these forms, and I'm only going to check 2 forms. I'm going to check the contract to lease, which is the actual offer. And then we're going to also select the compensation agreement, which guarantees us our compensation. All right, that's all I need for now. We're going to go ahead and select those 2 and click on add to a transaction. All right, so we just added those forms to the transaction. We're going to go ahead and open up the contract to lease. You see it here? There's the contract to lease. We're going to go ahead and open it and we're going to prepare it. All right, so we have here the contract to lease. We have Miami Real Estate Investment Group, LLC is the owner, and Michael Jordan. All right, as a reminder, guys, you'll just do this, right? Comma, wife, Jordan, right? And then, I don't know, father-in-law Jordan. You guys get it, right? So you're going to put in the person's names that are going to be on the lease. Okay. There is a space down here in line number 3 that says the property will be used for only residential purposes and occupied by only tenant and the following persons. So the tenants are these up here, right? And then the following people will be down here in line 3. Okay. All right. So we have Michael Jordan as the tenant. Then right here, line 2, deposit. How much is going to be the deposit? Well, we are going to enter into a contract to lease this property for $5,200. So we're going to collect $5,200. When do we collect it? We collect it upon execution of the CTL. CTL is a short version of contract to lease. So do not initiate collection of the deposit until this is fully signed by the tenant and the landlord. Okay. How do we collect the deposit? Cashier's check, money order, or use the Earnest app. All right. We have instructions for you that we send out every single Monday for you to download the Earnest app. And it's a simple electronic way to collect escrow deposits, and it goes right into our escrow account. Okay. All right, so right here, number 3 is the property address, and then any occupants will be here. This is going to be an unfurnished property. And then lease term, All right, we are, oh, I skipped something. I skipped something right here. Number one, all right, when should this contract to lease be accepted? So today's Thursday, October 31st. I'm gonna count 3 business days, right? We're gonna go to Monday. All right, we're gonna go to Monday, November 4th. So that's the expiration of this offer.
May I intrude here? It
Yes.
takes for the background check in about 2 weeks.
Correct.
So what do? We still put like 3 days?
So background check from the association takes 2 weeks, but from you, it takes less than an hour.
True.
If you guys
Right.
use
I
rent-free,
was using the one on Simplicity.
no,
I'm using the
no,
one on Simplicity.
no. So if you use rent-free, my rental tenant screening or landlord station, background checks are done pretty much within the hour. And you will have a full criminal background check and a full credit check.
Okay, rental screen. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so we have here our expiration date of our offer, and then we have, by the way, guys, I mean, I'm gonna share a tip with you guys. If you meet with Michael Jordan today and you go look at a property, already lay out the documentation you need. All right, you're gonna need to complete a criminal background check and a credit check. You're gonna need 3 months of proof of income, so either banking statements or pay stubs. Sometimes a combination of both. You're going to need copies of their identification, and you're going to need them to fill out a rental application. All of this gets submitted to the listing agent with the contract to lease. Every single agent that is listing a property requires you to submit not just a contract to lease, but also 3 months of banking statements, a full tenant screening, an application, and copies of their identification in order to accept the offer. All right, so everyone. Now, when you're offering on a property that is inside of an HOA or condo association, there is going to be an additional screening done by that association. Sometimes they don't require you to do your own screening. Sometimes they'll say, listen, the condo association is going to do the screening, and they're going to take care of the credit check and the criminal background check. All right, but you need to check with them prior. I'm just letting you know, standard is that everyone is going to require it. So go ahead and get started doing this. All right, lease term. Lease term. Let's go November 15th. All right, November 15th. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and lease it for 1 year. So let's go to November 14th of next year. All right, number 5 right here is money due. Watch this sum grow. Watch this, all right, total grow. It's going to grow by everything we put here. So first month's rent is $5,200. And I like to write for the date of collection, I like to write upon acceptance of CTL. All right, that's what I write. Okay, last month's rent, let's just double check here on the MLS what is being collected here. All right, first month and 2 security deposits. Do you guys see why I did this? All right, I don't want to make a mistake. We are not going to put last month's rent because they're not collecting last month's rent. They're collecting 2 security deposits. So 5,200 times 2 is $10,400. And when is this due? This is due on the day of the move-in. So November 15th. Guys, this is just an offer. This is not a lease agreement. If anything changes between now and then it'll reflect on the lease agreement. This is just an offer. We are intending to rent this property. We're going to place $5,200 as a deposit, and the remaining 2 months, we're going to go ahead and give it in on the day that we move in. All right. The $95 charged by Elite Ocean View Realty is here. This is our brokerage fee. And then we're going to go ahead and put here upon acceptance of CTL. All right. So when you collect your escrow, it's going to be $5,200 plus $95. It can be in one check. So it'll be $5,295 written to Elite Ocean View Realty, and it will be in a cashier's check. Guys, money orders are in total of $500 per money order. So it's going to be a lot of money orders. At this point, just tell them to go to their bank and do one cashier's check for $5,295. All right, right here, we're going to go ahead and write the first month is $5,200, and it's going to be credited as first month's rent. Okay, you don't have to write anything else down. It's just the deposit, right? So it's your deposit. It's not talking about the whole thing. Deposit will be credited as first month's rent. Okay. In reality, the $5,200 is credited towards the realtor commissions, right? The realtor compensations, because the landlord agreed on the listing agreement to compensate the real estate brokerages the first month. So that's
How about
what,
if they don't?
then they don't have a listing.
I mean, there's a listing, I have a
I-
listing, but I don't see where they put in, well, go ahead, I don't want to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
No, I want to answer you. If you're a listing agent and you go and you try and get a listing and they're not going to compensate you, why would you take the listing?
I'm not taking, no, this is a rental,
Yeah, I know, for a rental.
right? Well,
Why,
it's not me,
why,
it's
why
what
would I?
the client, it's what the client is looking for, so should I move the client somewhere else?
I think we're confusing things here. So you mean
Go
if
ahead.
you mean if the landlord is not going to compensate you, the tenant agent?
Right, I don't see it, that's what I'm
You're
trying
not
to
gonna,
say, I'm looking,
you're not gonna see it. And at that point, you need to make a decision. You and your tenant need to make a decision. Either your tenant pays you or you move on to another property.
gotcha,
Mm-hmm.
okay. That's loud and clear.
At this point, since even through the recent rule changes for purchases, 100% of the landlords are paying compensation. It makes no sense to not offer a compensation. All right, so you guys are good. All right, moving on here to rent payments. What is 5,200 times 12? That's what you're gonna put there. All right, so it's 5,200 times 12. That is $62,400. That is the total for the lease term, 62,400. Rent payment will be due on the 15th of every month, and it's going to be $5,200. That's how you fill this out. And then we're going to go ahead and come here. Tenant is going to be responsible for the AC filter. And then what is the application fee for the association? It's $50. You know, it's not much.
Right,
All right. Usually you see $100 or $150. This association is only requiring a $50 application, which is good. And then you would like your approval to come in at least a few days before move-in date. So I'm going to go by the 13th of November. You would like the approval to be made by November 13th. Most associations, all right, most associations tell you they take 2 weeks to approve your client. All right, so they can be faster or they can take all 2 weeks. Okay. All right, that's it. You guys are done with your CTL. We're going to go ahead and click on save. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and move real quickly. This is kind of turning into a rental class more than a form simplicity class. I didn't want to happen that way, but that's okay. All right, we're going to open up the compensation agreement, guys, and we're going to select that the owner is going to compensate us, right? Miami Real Estate Investment Group, LLC, will compensate us.
Mhm.
And For a term, we're gonna put in 30 days. You should be able to close a rental within 30 days. That's not a problem. And they're gonna compensate us right here for broker compensation. The first line, they're gonna compensate us 50% of the first month. All right, go ahead and erase 5%. Now, if for some reason the listing agent tells you compensation is 5% of the year's rent, then you do the second option and you put here 5% of the year's rent. Okay. All right. You're done with this too. All right, you click on save and you're not done. All right, so now it's time for us to get our electronic signing. All right, so first, if you guys want to download this form or any form, you're going to select the form you want to download and you're going to go up here and you're going to hit download and it's going to download in a PDF format to your computer. Okay, from there, you can email as an attachment to your client, you can print it, you can do whatever it is that you like to do. Okay, if you guys want to use the e-signing, then you're going to come here, you're going to click on e-sign. See it? All right, so we're going to go ahead and click on eSign. Of course, you need to purchase the eSign first. So we're going to go ahead and click on eSign. Who is going to sign this offer? None of these people, right? The listing agent doesn't sign it. Our broker doesn't sign it. You don't sign it. This is a contract to offer only signed by the tenant and the landlord. So we're going to go ahead and create a new eSign session. All right, guys, it does take a few seconds to open up eSign. And if for some reason you guys have a pop-up blocker, all right, enabled, then the screen is going to show that says a pop-up was blocked. And then it's going to say, click here to open eSign. So you're going to obviously follow instructions and click here. You know, my pop-up blocker is disabled. So it did not. All right, and I'm using Google Chrome. It did not block my pop-up. But just in case, guys, if you do land on a page that says your pop-up was blocked, go ahead and disable it. All right. Now, how do you name this session title? I normally just name it like this: contract to lease. And then I normally just follow that with the property address, right? This is the session title. This is pretty much the subject line of the email you're sending your client. And then you're going to come here and you're just going to type something. I'm going to go ahead and type, "Hi, Michael, please sign CTL." All right. "Hi, Michael. All right, if you guys do not want to use the term CTL, go ahead and type in, "Please sign the contract to lease," or "Please sign the offer." Okay, however you guys want to talk to your client, it's really up to you. Next is go down here. We're going to now add Michael as a recipient. So you click on the little blue button right here. If you've already worked with Michael before, then of course you're just going to come here and you're going to select Michael. This is everyone I've ever worked with, you know, and I'm going to go ahead and click on add recipient and you just add Michael Jordan, his email address. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and practice, because you can practice, and I'm going to create Michael Jordan. Actually, I'm not going to create Michael Jordan. I already have Michael in here. So pretend that I went ahead and I created Michael Jordan. Let me show you. I have Michael Jordan here with my email address. All right. What I meant by practice is that you guys can create any fake client that you like with your very own email address and watch it work. Watch how eSign works. So notice this is Michael Jordan with my email address. All right, so I went ahead and created the client, and I'm going to click on select. And now that is my client, Michael Jordan, who's going to receive the invitation to sign the documents. We're going to click on next. Here, we're going to see that Michael Jordan is tenant number 1. All right. If you added an additional tenant, then tenant number 2. All right, up here, we have first and last name, email address, and add signer in the event that you need to add an additional signer now. Let's say you moved from the previous screen and you forgot to add an additional tenant. Here you have an option to add a tenant right away. Click on next, click on yes, and we are going to now proceed. All right, this, yes, that's right, proceed. Okay, and we're gonna click on next. All right, so here's the contract, guys. Every single space where my tenant needs to initialize or sign is already prepared. In the event that you need to add more initials, all right, let's say I need to add an initial over here for some reason. You're gonna go select who's going to initial, and then you're gonna go to the left and you're just gonna click and drag right there and place an initial. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. And I want you guys to notice this. Let's say you had 3 tenants, right? Tenant number 1, initial. Tenant number 2, initial. But you need a third initial. All right, so you're gonna open here, you're gonna select tenant number 3, and you're gonna click and drag and place the third initial there. Does everyone get it? You know, the contracts are not made for 3 tenants. They're not made for 3 buyers. So you need to make it yourself. You need to make sure that you add an initial field everywhere where the third tenant is going to initialize, and everywhere where the third tenant is going to also sign. Guys, if you want to scratch out a line on the left, you have strike through. So you can basically come here and say this line does not apply, right? And then, of course, you're going to have to do this, right? You're going to have to put in an initials right there. All right, didn't fit there. So let's just put it up here. All right, and that is how you will scratch a line off of the contract and initialize there. The landlord is going to have to agree to these changes and also initialize it. Okay, you guys can add text fields, you know, where you can write. So you can come here, add a text field, and you can write whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase that. And, you know, there are certain options here. You can add a date field, you can add a signature field. All of that is available through eSign. All right, I'm going to go ahead and erase this here. This is not what we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this. And then come down here, guys. You see that Michael Jordan is going to sign here where it says prospective tenant and the date, second tenant, second date. And if you had a third tenant, then you're going to select the third tenant up here. And you're going to just click and drag a signature field and place it right there. And you're going to click and drag a date field and place it right here. Does everyone here understand this part? All right. Very simple to use. I'm going to go ahead and erase this because we're not working with a third tenant. So there's no need to have that. Lastly, you're just going to go ahead and click on send, and then you're going to call Michael and you're going to let Michael know, hey, check your email. I just sent you the contract so you can sign it. All right. So let's take a look. You see right here, this is the email. All right, Michael's going to receive this. It says Roberto Rodriguez has invited Michael Jordan to sign the contract to lease for this property address. All right, Michael can sign using a computer, a tablet, or a phone. It's very simple. Michael's going to proceed to click on review and sign. Okay, he's going to click on review and sign, and he's going to begin the signing. All right, question on the chat. What if it's a co-signer? All right, yes, if there's a co-signer added to the contract to offer, you're going to add the co-signer as a signer and have them sign, right? So in this case, the co-signer would be Michael's second tenant, right? If it's Michael and his wife and a co-signer, then the co-signer would be the third tenant. I agree, and start signing. Guys, by the way, a co-signer is the same as a tenant. They are on the lease. All right, they're gonna need a tenant screening. They're gonna need a background check. They're gonna need proof of income. A co-signer is just like a regular lease person. All right. So Michael's gonna receive this. He's gonna start. Guys, it's very simple. You can explain this to anyone in just a minute. All right, they're gonna click on start. They're gonna come here and it's flashing. All right, we need Michael's initials here. So he clicks there, next, clicks there, next, clicks here, next, clicks there, one more, next, here, next, and it says all required fields have been completed. Guys, he cannot complete the e-signing until every field is signed. Very simple. All right, so it's not, oh, I did it. I don't know what happened. I signed it. No. If he goes next, and he gets to this part and he closes it without hitting yes, then yes, it's not finished. He must click on yes. Once he clicks on yes, he's going to receive this message that says, congratulations, your signing session is now completed. Okay. You guys will then be alerted via email. So take a look here. Michael Jordan has signed the contract. And then you're going to get a secondary email allowing you to download the contract. So here's the secondary email. And it says your documents are ready for download. Here it is. All right. So as agents, you're not going to click here. And you're going to download the contract to lease. There it is. All right. Let's show it to you. This is the contract to lease. And it is initialized. And it is signed by Michael Jordan with the date. Any questions? How easy that was?
It was easy.
It was easy, guys. You know what? Practice with yourself. Make yourselves a Michael Jordan client. Run through these steps, perfect it, and then you know how to explain it to your client in the event that they are confused as to what to do next. Okay? All right, so what do we do with this PDF file, guys? Of course, you download it to your computer. All right, you download it to your computer, and then you are ready to now go to your email, right? You're ready to go to your email. You're going to compose an email. You're going to attach all requested documents, right? You're going to attach the listing agreement. Not the listing agreement, sorry. The contract to lease. You're going to attach the criminal background / credit check. You're going to attach the proof of income and the copies of your client's identification. And you're going to also attach the compensation agreement and send it over to the listing agent as an offer. All right. Get into a habit of, after you send the offer to the listing agent, call them. Let them know, hi, listing agent, I just sent you an offer for my client. Please let me know if we can proceed with the lease. Okay. Don't just assume that they are going to read the contract, the offer right away. Alert them that you sent over a contract. Okay. Now, guys, I didn't show you the compensation agreement, what to do with it, because it's very simple. The compensation agreement is only to be signed by you, right? You're signing it, and the landlord is signing it. So watch, I'm going to go back to transactions. All right. So I'm going to go back home. And then there it is. Watch how I'm going to sign the compensation agreement. All right. We're going to go ahead and get that signed. We're going to open up here the compensation agreement. We're going to click on eSign. And who is signing this? I am signing this. So Robert Rodriguez right there. I am signing it. So we're going to click on create a new session. All right, so I am the tenant broker. I am the tenant broker, so click on next. Click on yes. All right, this is pretty much for myself. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say comp agreement. Now, you can send yourself an email or you can just do this, include me as a signer. Yeah, include yourself as a signer. You don't need to send yourself an email. So if you include yourself as a signer, all right, it's gonna add here the that you are signing it. All right. If you don't do that, it's gonna send it to you via email. So watch this. You know, I can just hit delete here, right? We don't have anybody, include me as a signer, and there I am. All right, very simple. Next. Once again, I am the tenant broker, Roberto Rodriguez. We're gonna go ahead and click on next, next. Yes, proceed. Next. All right, where do I sign this? I sign it here. Once I click on send, it's not gonna send. It's gonna say, we notice that you are a signer. Would you like to sign now or later? Of course, I wanna sign it now. All right, agree, start signing, hit start, sign it, next, date it, next, complete it. And now my compensation agreement is fully signed. Download it to your computer, right? Download it to your computer and go ahead and send it over with the lease agreement. There it is. All right, comp agreement. And well, that was the review and sign. I need another email. Come on, Form Simplicity, send me the email. All right, so it's taking a little bit, but it's gonna come in and we're gonna download it, okay? Now, guys, where can I find my documents inside of Form Simplicity? All right, it's right here, inside the transaction. These are the originals. These are the originals. And this is the signed agreement. Compensation agreement. All right, signed. It's signed. All right, so every single document that has been signed will be down there. The originals will be up here. All right, let's take a look at the email. And it says signing complete. Congratulations, all parties have signed it. Download the comp agreement and send it over with your offer. All right. All right, guys. So once the offer has been accepted, then you proceed with the collection of the escrow, and then the listing agent is going to prepare a lease agreement and send it over to you and your client for review and signing of the actual lease itself. Okay, that is how you use Form Simplicity to prepare an offer and send it over. All right, I am going to switch real quick here to a property that is for sale. And I want you guys to take a look. It's very similar. You click on Form Simplicity. All right, we have all the information. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and say that ABC is a landlord. Of course, just go look for the landlord name, right? Just to save time, I'm just gonna put in ABC. And then purchase price, we're gonna try and purchase this for $1,300,000 flat. All right, so $1,300,000 flat. Once again, Michael Jordan is my client. And then save to a transaction. All right, so we moved on through that process. The transaction name is the same as the address. This is a residential property and this is a purchase. Save to a transaction. All right, we've got pretty much the same thing we did with the contract to lease, but now we have a purchase situation, right? So you come here and you add forms package. This time, we're not doing the lease package anymore. We're doing the buyer package. You're going to unselect all these forms, and this is what you're going to need in a purchase situation. You're going to need the as-is residential contract for sale and purchase. This is a condo, so you're going to need a condo rider. All right. If this condo was built prior to 1978, you're going to need the lead-based paint disclosure. So was it? All right. When was it built? 1982. So you do not need it. Okay. So we're going to uncheck this. So right now we have the purchase contract and the condo rider. Anything else you need at this point in time? No. However, you're also going to include the compensation agreement, sellers to buyer broker, right? You're going to contact the listing agent. You're going to ask, is the compensation or is the seller paying compensation to me, the buyer broker? And they tell you, yes, it's 3%. So you're going to need the compensation agreement, seller to buyer broker, and then hit add to a transaction, and then click on continue. Let me start backwards real quick here. Since we just talked about the compensation, we're going to open up the compensation agreement. All right, so the seller broker will compensate us. This is going to be for a term of 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, whatever you guys want. I'm going to go ahead and put in 45 days. And what are they going to compensate us? They're going to compensate us 3%, right? They told us 3%. So 3% of the gross price of the property plus, if there's anything, you put something here and I put 0. All right, so 3% and then 0. There's no additional contribution. If the seller was giving any concessions or contributions, then you put it here. All right, guys, you're done with your compensation agreement. You click on save. Who signs the compensation agreement? You do, right? Broker, authorized sales associate, you do. And the seller is going to sign it. So that means that you're going to have to submit this with your offer. Next, we're going to move into the contract itself. Here it is. All right, this is not meant to be a contracts class, guys. I'm going to breeze right through this, but I just want you to see it's pretty much very similar to what we just did with the CTL. However, this is now for an offer. So we have here sellers, buyers, the property address, the legal description, any appliances, all appliances, right? And then we have the purchase price. How much is your deposit? Let's say we're going to give $70,000 as a deposit. All right, we're going to give $70,000 as a deposit. Who's going to hold escrow within 3 days? We use Marina Title. You guys can use any title. Marina Title is our title partner. All right. Call me. Ask me for the information for Marina Title. I will text it to you right away. Okay. You're going to put in their address, their phone number, their email address for Marina Title. All right, any additional deposit given, we're going to go ahead and put in 0. No additional deposit given. And then balance to close. Are they financing? Let's say, yes, they are financing. So they're going to finance 80% or 75%. They're going to finance 75%. They need to come with an additional $255,000 at closing. All right, so that line E will fill out right away when you tell the system how much are they financing. They're going to finance 75%. That means that 255,000 plus 70,000 is equal to 25% of $1.3 million. If they are purchasing in cash, then you do not do anything in the percentage. And for balance to close, all right, you're going to go ahead and put in the remaining balance. So it would have been $1,230,000. That would have been your balance to close. $1,230,000 if they're buying in cash. All right. If they're financing, then you do it this way. Put in the percentage they're financing, and this is the balance to close. All right. Time for acceptance. We want our contract to be accepted by, let's say, Wednesday, the 6th of November. All right, so let's give them some time to think about it. We would like to close. All right, so today's the last day of October. We'd like to close somewhere in the middle of December. So December 12th. All right, we would like to close by December 12th. All right, we are financing. So we're going to select financing here. And this is going to be a conventional loan. All right, and we need the loan approval to be done within 30 days. This is going to be a 30-year loan. And we need the loan application to be filled out within 5 days. Moving on to page number 5. At the bottom of page number 5, we have property inspection, right to cancel. We must perform an inspection within the first 10 days. Your client has every right to cancel this contract within that first 10 days and receive their deposit back. All right, that's what this all means, guys. Please read through it. Again, if I'm speeding through it, this is not meant to be a contracts class. All right, we will teach you contracts in a contracts class. But line 12 is the property inspection, right to cancel. You can put 7 days, you can put 8 days, 9 days, 10 days, up to 15 days. All right, and within those days, your buyer has to perform an inspection and has every right to cancel this contract and receive a 100% refund of their deposit. Move on through the entire contract. Make sure that you guys know, take some time and read the contract, guys. All right. You are going to include a condo rider, and then eventually a seller's disclosure will be sent to you. You do not need a conveyance of foreign buyer if your client is not a foreign buyer. If your client is a foreign buyer, then you are going to need to include a conveyance of foreign buyer. All right. So what do we need? We need a condo rider. We do not need a lead base because it's not a pre-1978 property. And eventually the seller is going to send us a seller's disclosure, so we'll need a seller's disclosure. All right. Here we have additional terms. These are filled in by us, the brokerage. And then down here, we have where the signing goes. All right, we're going to go ahead and click on save. And now you're ready to prepare for eSign, guys. You're ready to prepare for eSign. You close this out. All right, so once you close it, it's very simple. Select the documents you would like to get eSigns. This one, and eventually the condo writer. I didn't prepare the condo writer just yet because I need to verify certain things like what are the maintenance fees and is there any assessments, things of that nature. So right now we're just going to go ahead with the contract and then go to eSign, prepare the e-signatures. All right, any questions on what we just did? Now, of course, if you guys want to know more about how to prepare an offer, we do have a working with buyers class. I even have it on YouTube. Here it is. It's working with buyers right there. All right, working with buyers. So you guys can review this, and it goes through the entire process of every single document we need and what to do when you're working with a buyer. All right, guys, if you want to archive a transaction, you can always archive a transaction right here. If you guys need to upload a document into the transaction, you're going to upload it here where it says files, and you're going to click on upload files. That allows you to upload any PDF to your transaction, and it's done here under upload files. Of course, I'm going to just archive this transaction. I don't want to see it anymore. So we're going to click on archive. We're going to click on archive transaction. And that was just practice. Watch, when I go home, I no longer see the for sale or for purchase transaction. I only see the one that was lease and rental. All right, I archived it. If I want to archive this one, we're going to go ahead and click on it. All right, and then we're going to archive it. We're going to click on archive, and we're going to click on yes, archive transaction. It is now sent into the archives. All right, when I go here to archived transactions, I will see them. It's going to be in there. They're not lost forever. They're not deleted. Okay, you guys can always click and inside of an archived transaction and bring it back to life. You can unarchive it, right? If I come here and I click on it, I can always click here on archive and it's going to put it back into my transactions. Again, deleting a transaction is not allowed. We don't want you to, by mistake, delete important documents. All right, guys, any questions? Look here, if you go to blank forms and there is a form that you need, right? You need to download a form. Maybe you want to download a blank copy of the as-is contract. It's very simple. Go to blank forms and then look for the as-is and just download a blank copy. It's that simple. All right, you come to Florida, you look for the as-is, there it is, select it, and click on download. If you want to open it and start typing, you can open it and start typing. If you want to look for a specific form, go here to the right and put in listing. All right, you click on search. And here are every single form that has to do with the listing. We use the exclusive right of sale, listing and agreement, transaction broker. All right, select it, download it, print it, or just open it and see the form and you can start typing away on the form. All right, guys, that is your form simplicity training. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you guys get to practice as much as I practice during my trainings. I didn't learn this overnight. You know, it took a few tries. You guys will be the same. I promise you, you'll learn it rather quickly. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us in today's class. I really do appreciate it. And I will upload this training in our YouTube channel later this afternoon. All right, folks. Have a great day, everyone. Happy Halloween to everyone.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.